Hey everybody, welcome to the Mom Pod. I am Brooke,
Sam?
and this week, sorry in advance because I am getting sick. My daughter has gotten me some kind of lovely viral thing, which is
Best
great.
part of being a mom, you get to experience it all.
Oh yeah, and not only do you get to experience it, you get to continue to do everything while you're going through it.
Yeah, and they get to lay there. That's not fair.
Yeah. So I already called out of work for tomorrow because I'm like not feeling well. I don't want to take it into the office. Um, but it's like, but I'm not gonna be able to rest because I'm just gonna be home with the baby. So it's like, okay, you know, fun.
Right.
But okay, so this week we wanted to talk about leaving the hospital and all the things we have to do to prepare for that and things that come right after that because it's not something that is really talked about, I feel like.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. There's
I
so
had
many
no idea what to
checklists.
expect.
There's so many checklists that lead up to the hospital and what to do in the hospital, and then it's just good luck after
Right,
that.
like, once you're there, it's, like, I guess expected that you're just gonna know, but there's so many things that you have to do before you can even leave,
Right.
and I didn't even know, like, I had no idea some of it. Um, like, for one thing, most hospitals, like, won't let you leave unless you have a car seat that
Hmm.
unclips from the car. I didn't realize that because, we had a car seat that we got that's infant, like newborn infant to 10 years down the line, it goes to booster. And I was like, "Oh, this would be
Hmm.
great. We only need one car seat." And then I was talking to you guys and
Hmm.
they were like, y'all were like, "Yeah, you need a car seat that has a base." I'm like, "Wha
Yep. You
really?"
have to bring it in
Like
and show them.
yeah.
That's right.
So, which, it does make sense though because they're so floppy.
Hmm.
I can't imagine trying to put a newborn into a car seat that's in the car. I was, like, thinking about
Mm-mm.
it, and I'm like, I can't imagine having to do that. Every once in a while, maybe, in certain situations, but as, like, a
Hmm.
normal day to day, I couldn't imagine, like, putting a floppy little piece of Jello in a car seat like that every day.
So most of the time, though, I didn't take my car seat out.
Hey, if it
So
works for
I
you.
did. The only time, because I didn't do one of the strollers that connect either. So I was
Right.
used to I was used to that. I mean, I was like so extra, like literally
Yeah.
like, okay, don't do this, move my whole body at the same time. It probably looked ridiculous. I was treating her like she was glass, which I feel like a lot of people do because then they realize, oh my God, this is a human that I am now responsible for.
Yeah.
Congratulations. But
Yeah, it is, it's wild, but they're just, like they're so flimsy. You feel like you're gonna break them.
hmm. No, I
So,
mean, that was fun.
yeah. So, if you're going into it and you are getting ready to have a baby,
Mhm.
FYI, just make sure you have one
Yeah,
of
have
those
it.
car
Because
seats.
my dad and Brad installed the car seat after Maddie was born. But we kind of knew what we were doing with him as a firefighter. He helps do that all the time.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I wasn't that worried, but I was like, yeah, we were in a hospital, half a hospital bag that he had to do, car seat. We were not prepared.
We had, our car seat installed by a fire department.
Yep.
I mean, we had to do it, but, like, it was nice having somebody who specializes in it to teach us,
Right.
like, where all the parts are in the car and how to make sure it's safe, and ours was, multi thing, like, it can be with or without the base, and then there was 2 different ways to do it without the base and, like,
That's
where we could
nice.
put it, what's gonna fit better because I had a really small car at the time, so
Right.
finding the different places where it would fit the best, um, was really helpful and just making
Yeah.
sure that we knew what we were doing, and I remember I remember they had us do it with, like, a teddy bear. so that we could show her how that we knew how to strap the child in, and,
That's
like,
kinda
Eric
nice that they make you do that before you leave. That's nice.
it was yeah, we had to do that, and they wouldn't check off on the, like, inspection until we did that, and
Nice.
it was so funny because I knew how to do it, I've done it with other kids, so, like, Eric was she's like, "I just need to see one of you do it." So I was like, "Okay, Eric, go ahead, like, give it a shot." And he put, like, the legs of the teddy bear, like, through the armholes, and, like, it was just not it was so
Split.
funny, though. It was hilarious just watching it
That's
and
funny.
seeing it now, and we're all like it's just it was so funny, but
That is really
it is
funny.
definitely one thing to, like that I did not know going into it, and I found out, luckily, before our shower, so I could put that on the registry,
Mhm.
and excuse me,
Sorry, my
yeah, so
dog's
there's that
barking.
that's I can't even hear him, so you're fine. Um, so there's that, and then also you have to like get your kid on a pediatrician
Oh
in
my
like
god.
ready
Oh,
to go before hello Dale. Before you even leave. They won't let
yep,
you leave until that baby is got an appointment with a
that's
pediatrician
right.
within the next week.
That's right. I remember being so nervous. My mom, though, pushed me like a couple weeks before. And
Mhm.
I called and like interviewed a couple of different pediatricians, and there was one that I'm glad I called because the front desk in them they were so rude and
Yeah.
so disrespectful, and like the doctor was there and I overheard him say I don't have time for that. And I mean like it was just I was like a little turned off by it, and then I fell in love with Howard
As you
County
should be.
Pediatrics. And the
Right.
doctor walked by and was like, "Who are you talking to?" And they said, "New patient, maybe." And he was like he jumped on the phone and was like, "What can I do for
Oh,
you?" And I
I
was
love
like in
that.
love right away. But I was
Yeah.
glad I did that though, because then I knew right away who I wanted. So it was almost like a little interview process of what do you expect? Like, what do I need to do? What does it look like for
Right.
the first year? What are
Yeah.
do you have a phone number on weekends to call if there's an emergency? Things like that.
Right.
Um, those are the questions at least that I asked. I'm glad I did though, because I fell in love with Howard
Mhm.
County Pediatrics, and they were like, "Well, when you have the baby, call. I'll have your name down," and I did, and they were so
Yeah.
sweet. They sent a
Yeah,
little
that's
care
really great.
package.
I got so overwhelmed, like, with the idea of having to call and not that you have to, like you said,
Right,
your
right.
mom kinda pushed you to do the interview. My mom was also pushing me a little bit to do that, like,
Mhm.
not in a bad way, obviously, but she was like, you should call and do, like, interviews with a couple of places to make sure that somebody aligns with you," and I don't know, it made me so anxious, and
Mhm.
I was like, "I don't know what I'm supposed to ask, and I don't wanna take up their time, like, I don't even
Right.
know I don't know," and, I ended up Tab her son had such really, like, severe allergic
Mhm.
reactions, and she ended up finding the doctor that we see now, and she just praised this doctor so highly that I was like, I kinda just wanna go with her, because I know
Yeah.
somebody who's gone I didn't know any of the issues that we would have, obviously, was hoping we weren't gonna have any, but um, just knowing somebody who had such big issues, find this doctor who was so caring,
Mhm.
um, and willing to do X, Y, and Z is like, I just want that doctor. And I was able to get in with her, but she also works for Johns Hopkins, like as a whole. So when we have urgent needs,
Mhm.
if she can't get us in, another doctor there can, and everything is all within
That's
um
nice.
it crosses over and they can look at notes and they can see this and that and talk to each other, um and then there's the urgent line to call after hours on the weekends, um and they're great too, so I was really
Right.
happy with that decision, but I just was like, going into it, I was like, how am I supposed to make an appointment for a baby that's not even born? And then it's like, "Oh, you don't actually make an appointment until they're born?" But then I was like, "But how are they get an appointment
Yep.
if within a week? Like, there's no way." But obviously they have that.
Right.
Like
They know.
they have the bandwidth for that. They make their own private, like, separate thing specifically for newborns so that they have
Right.
the time slots available every single week to fit in. Baby was born today, we got him in. I think her appointment was 4 days postpartum.
Maddie was, I think hers was 4. It was either 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So, because it was
My,
quick.
well, and I only know that Haley's was 4 because I was in the hospital for 3 days because of the
Right.
C-section. So
Right.
I had to be like, well, I can't, come tomorrow.
Right. I'm trying to
um,
remember.
yeah, but actually, yeah, I think it was when I called, from the time I called, it was only 2 days.
Yeah, mine was 4. I just counted.
Yeah.
I had to check.
Yeah, it was literally, they were like, okay, well, we can get you in 2 days. I was like, oh, okay,
That's amazing. It
cool.
is amazing when you think about it. I was way more stressed about maternity leave at work and all the things that I have to call and do, which
Yeah,
is insane. And I don't even, they already changed it. So I have no idea what to do with this one. But luckily, another friend of mine is pregnant too. We're going to do it together. I was
they
stupid
changed
too.
it.
Yeah. I was stupid too and didn't do FMLA.
Okay.
So I stuck with like my union sick leave, fun stuff.
Mm,
But that stressed me out more than like figuring out, Social Security and getting the birth certificate and doing all that.
mhm.
I was more stressed about maternity leave, which was stupid, but
All that stuff, honestly,
that was me.
I don't even remember how I did any of that, to be honest with you. I feel like the days after her birth were such a blur. I
Hmm.
think, well, the I'm pretty sure that the hospital gave me all the forms, and I
Hmm.
just
They do.
signed what I had to sign and said, make my child a person, basically.
Right.
Um, but
Yeah, Brad
yeah,
did
I
all that.
think, yeah, I had great maternity leave, so I was very lucky.
Hmm.
Um, in that aspect, I wasn't really concerned about that, but FMLA was something to definitely fall back on if I needed to
Hmm.
expand my leave. But
Yeah,
you
that's my
guys,
plan
so
this time.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I've
because you
used
guys
so
don't
much of
actually
my sick
get,
leave.
yeah,
No, you
but
have to
you
use
guys don't
all the
even
sick leave, all your personal leave.
all your personal leave.
Then, if you are part of a union, you can use the sick bank and get 6
Mm-hmm.
weeks, or 8 if you have a C-section, but 6 weeks. And then
Yeah,
everything else is out of your pocket. You don't get paid. Which
yeah,
FMLA is just save your job. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah,
So,
it's just saying like there's a reason for you to be out for this
yep,
period of time, and your job is secure for you when you come back.
right.
That's literally all it is,
So
and
that's what I'm gonna do this time because I'm already. I think I was almost negative because of Maddie being sick so often, and then my
yeah,
dad, and then everything else, and I was like, mm-mm. And being hit
yeah,
all the time at work, so I would take a lot of mental health
yeah.
days,
You need it.
especially while
Yeah.
pregnant.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah.
insane. That's a
Yeah,
whole nother
that's
story.
we'll get to that in our jobs episode.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like
But
8 a whole
anyways,
series.
I still remember though, because when I was leaving and wheeled out, which that's a whole thing, because I was supposed to be wheeled out before noon, but the nurse didn't show up, so then they like make you wait a little bit longer, and if you wait a certain amount of time, you have to pay for another day in another room.
Mhm.
Well, luckily we were able to dispute that. But
Yeah.
I was being wheeled out and Tab was there because they were doing their birthing
Oh,
class and
yeah,
the
I remember
tour.
that.
So she got to meet Maddie. I remember Brad left to go get the truck. It was so cold that day. It was like
Uh-huh.
when we went in, it was at least 80 degrees, and then, which was an insane for November 1st.
Yeah.
And then when we come out, it was crazy. It was like 50. But I
That's
remember being
Maryland for
like
you, baby.
terrified. I was so terrified to take her home because I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So if because I had a whole experience in the hospital, which we can talk about later because we'll hear about that with oh shit moments. But with her refusing to sleep in the little bassinet in the crib, and she
Mhm.
refused to be swaddled. She struggled with eating. I was going through my
Mhm.
depression of breastfeeding, and I'm like, how am I supposed to do this at home by
Yeah.
myself? It was
Yeah.
terrifying. I won't have a doula. Brad was going to go back to work soon to use his paternity leave later when I go back to work. So we had like this whole
Right.
plan. I'm like, I'm so scared. And
It
then
is
she
so
had, oh,
scary.
it was a lot, but like looking back on it now, I'm like, I know I'll be nervous with this one, but I'm way more comfortable.
But
We
you've
did
already done
it.
it.
Everyone was
Yeah.
fine. I think it's just the moment of I am now in charge of this bundle of life
It's,
and
like,
joy, and it's
real, not just
terrifying.
inside of me. I'm not protecting it
Right. And then
physically anymore.
it's just you and this baby.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
There,
and you're not
that's the
feeding
hard part.
yourself to feed the baby anymore, you're feeding the baby, and then also
Hmm.
having to feed yourself, so you're, like, caring for 2 people now instead of, like, 1 machine,
Right.
basically.
And then I
Um,
was on bed rest because I had all those infections,
yeah,
and which was adding to the list. But like, I don't know, I'm looking back on it now and I'm like so happy with how it went
good.
versus in the moment I know I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God the whole
It's
time.
just it's so scary leaving the hospital, and I think it's just not talked about enough. Like,
Right.
everybody talks about going into the hospital and preparing for birth and immediately after birth, but you're still in the hospital and things to ask and
Hmm.
things to do while you're there, but it's like this mystery when you
Right.
leave, and I think just as with everything in motherhood and pregnancy, everybody's story is going to be different.
100%.
Um, and I just feel like it's so helpful to hear other people's stories,
Hmm.
the good and the bad, and
Yeah.
it is scary. And I think people just focus so much on it's how scary it is to go through labor or go
Hmm.
through a C-section, major operation, and you just all you think about is how am I going to get myself through that and
Right.
then take care of a baby, but you don't really think about I don't know. It's just it's so weird to like to even try to explain.
Right. Well, it's because it's a long list. But, like, some of it, I will say, like, I feel like we're making it sound so scary, but it came
Oh,
naturally.
yeah.
There's,
It
like, parts of it
does.
that like, it happens. Like, you're like, "Okay, I
Yeah.
know what this means. I'm gonna do this." And you learn
Yeah.
because, again, every baby's cry is different. But
Mhm.
at least when they get up to that moment, like, you have to do X, Y, and Z,
Mhm.
or when you have a cry, it could be 1,000 different things, but you get to know your baby and you get to
Exactly.
understand this sound is this. Like I would remember one time they were like, "Oh, is a baby hungry?" Like, no, 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 no. That's when baby's uncomfortable. Change. Like it was like I
Yeah,
knew.
exactly. Well, and you
So
kind of start to put 2 and
you
2
know,
together on, like, timing, like, okay,
right,
baby's crying, but it just ate, so let me knock off different things that could possibly be you're gonna tick it off eventually,
right.
hopefully. Like
And then cluster feeding does happen, but you learn.
exactly, yeah,
You
and
try everything to figure out what it
yeah,
is.
and you do really it's so crazy because when you hear, like, other people's kids crying, I get it all the time with, like, my grandmother, for example, will be like, "Well, our she's crying, like, today, she was having a really hard time taking her nap, and because she's been sick, and she fell asleep for, like, 20 minutes and then just woke up crying,
Mm.
crying, crying, and I went in after, like, 5 minutes of her kind of reveling around, and I picked her up, and I was trying to calm her down, but she's crying even more and was reaching for her crib, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna walk out." And she's still crying, and my grandma's like, "Why don't you just bring her out here? She's sad or she's uncomfortable. She just wants to be out here." I'm like, "No, she needs to sleep. She's tired. I can hear
Right,
it in her cry." Like, but that
right.
cry sounds the same to everybody else.
True.
They don't hear it the way that you hear it. And as a mom, like you really do pick up on those subtle different like those little subtleties in each cry, and it doesn't come right away, but it does eventually, and you do definitely pick up on it. So
Right. And I will
don't
say I like binge watched those videos that like try to break down what each sound of the cry might be.
I could not
And
break
I
those
went
apart.
That was total BS because my daughter did not make those sounds the same way of like the
No.
A versus the O versus the E.
Right.
And it was like I'm just looking and sounding out and trying to find vowels like I do at work. And it just became so overwhelming. But then when I realized
Yeah.
I took a beat and I even wrote down certain things. Okay, this one was higher pitched. This was for this. This was this. This was this. And later on, I was like, I don't need any of this crap. I got this. And it was, you really do make a connection and it takes time. But when you do,
Of
you're like,
course.
I feel like super mom, look at me go, like kind of
Exactly,
thing.
like, I know everything, like, and yeah, it's just like, I know that cry, "Oh, she's hungry," can hear it in the
Yeah,
way that that sounds, or, like, it's more guttural or whatever it
right,
is, like, you
right.
really do pick up on it, and then it's not just the sounds, it's also, what they're doing with their hands or their eyes or
Hmm.
whatever, there's little body things that they start to do, and you start picking up on it, and you're like, "Oh, okay, that's what she does when she's tired," or, he
Right.
does when he's hungry, that and, again, every baby's different, every experience is different, but you will learn it, and I think it's like you said, we're
Mhm.
making it sound scary, but it is scary,
It is at
absolutely, and it
first,
should
yeah.
be you shouldn't feel like it's not, you should feel like, "Okay," but you should feel like you can do it, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, and you can.
It
I do
does
have a
come
question for
naturally.
you. I have a
Uh-huh.
question for you because I'm curious if it was the same for me and you, or if it was different.
Mhm.
Whenever she cried, at least with the first couple weeks, did you almost have like alarm bells going off where you couldn't focus on absolutely anything else? You felt like your anxiety levels went up, maybe your blood pressure went up. Like, I'm curious to always ask that to new moms
Hmm.
and
You know, the I don't even really recall, to be honest with you, because
really.
it was such a blur in the aftermath of coming home, and, I had the C-section, so I was also kind of on pain meds and trying to not do too much, and Eric was home for the first 2 weeks, so he did the brunt of everything while I was still trying to heal. Um, I feel like it depended on the cry. If it was something that I was like, "Oh, she's hungry," like, I could tell, then no, I feel like it
Mhm.
didn't cause anything to kind of spike in my brain, I guess.
Okay.
Her cries didn't necessarily give me anxiety unless it sounded like something was hurting her. Then I was like, those would send shockwaves through my body, like, "Oh my god, something's wrong, something's wrong." Um, but I feel like I picked up on those cues pretty quick, I guess.
Okay.
Um, she also, I mean, she had reflux really, really bad.
Oh my God, that's
So,
right.
yeah, so, like, her pain cries were vastly different from everything else,
Mhm.
and it came on quick, so I feel like I picked up on them a lot sooner
Gotcha.
than, maybe someone who's luckily only dealing with a baby that's hungry and tired or has a diaper. Um, so, yeah, I don't know, I feel like no, I wouldn't say
Okay.
that
Mine
every
was.
cry. Yeah, but
I
we
think
also had
that's
very different experiences
right.
postpartum.
I had
You know
postpartum anxiety and slight
Yeah,
depression. So I'm wondering if
right.
that's because even Brad was like trying to do things. He's like, she's okay for like 2 minutes. And I'm like
Mhm.
literally sweating and crying and turning red and getting angry.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad because there were moments where I even apologized to him so many
Yeah,
times because I felt like such a jerk. But at the time, I'm panicking, I'm freaking out. But
right.
according to like my OB, they're like there are people that yes, they go through that, and it's
Mhm.
your hormones are going through so much, and
Yeah,
you're trying to get back to yourself, which is it takes a long time
it
to
does.
do, isn't it? Years?
I guess it depends. I mean, again, that's gonna be very different for everyone, but I feel like it depends on the outlook you have and the determination you have to
Sure.
necessarily, like, if you want your life to go back to what it was,
Hmm.
pre-baby, and while also, adding the joys of the baby, or if you want it to change, if you wanna lose not necessarily lose, but you know what I mean, like, if you want it to be something different. Um, some people don't wanna go back to the way they used to be,
Hmm.
whereas, like, Eric and I were very much like, we want to have the baby be involved with our life the way it was, but we weren't like partiers or anything. So
Mhm.
for us, it was just like we want to still be able to do the things that we love to do now with this growing family. So whereas other people are like, I got to do it, and now that I have a family, I don't want to do that anymore. And then they
Mhm.
move on, and they kind of like have a new normal that they get to. So when it comes to getting back to normal, I feel like it depends on how you if you want to get back to normal, old normal, or
Right.
if you want to start a new normal. It
True.
could take it could take a lot longer to do either one of those. Um and then again, it depends on your normal. Like traveling, if you're like a huge travelers and stuff, it's going to take a lot longer to get back to that normal
Right.
because you can't do much traveling, heavy traveling with a newborn and an infant under a certain age. Now can't even think, but you know, things like that kind of take play into it, but
Yeah.
there's so many factors that go into leaving the hospital and coming out freshly postpartum
It's
of,
true.
like you said, you experienced postpartum anxiety, a little bit of postpartum depression, and I came out, I had severe anxiety while I was pregnant. I was on a medication, and when I came out, I was still on the medication, and my brain chemistry completely altered, and that medication started messing with my brain and making me more anxious, so I stopped
Mhm.
taking it, and once I stopped taking it, I just noticed a huge difference in myself, and, um, I was kind of, like, on almost like a high. I had a very unexpected fresh postpartum experience, I feel like.
I gotcha.
I don't
It's
know.
it's crazy to hear the different stories from everybody too.
Yeah.
It really is so different for everyone. Like, I mean, I have friends that immediately felt like they could bounce back, like right away, which blew my
Mhm.
mind. And then I took years to get to
Yeah.
where I felt like I was close to being myself and ready to
Yeah.
do things. Because I will say the hard part too is like having well, you guys were amazing because we were all at that point trying
Right.
or ready to start a family, figuring all of that out and how it would work. But so many other friends that didn't get that, and they continue doing what they're doing, but then they get upset because you keep
You
canceling
can't.
because I'm not ready to leave my baby yet, or I
Right.
can't go to a concert, or I can't keep going
Yeah.
to a bar, I'm pumping,
Mhm.
like, and it's like all of these that's a hard part too, 'cause in which I will
It
say, like, I
is.
had lost friends because they got
Mhm.
tired of me saying no, and
Well,
so
and that's, like, a huge thing that everybody says in life, right? You're gonna find out who your real people are when you get married and when you have children,
right.
because those are the two biggest, most pivotal moments in your life, and the people that are willing to stick by you through those changes, it doesn't necessarily mean they weren't real friends before, but that just means that their time may have,
Right.
elapsed, and
Or
they're
they
just
don't
not fit for
understand what it's
you. They're
like.
right, they're not fit for where you are in life anymore, and it's like, I hate to say it in this way, but it's the only way I can really think to say it. They've served your purpose in your life, and it's okay to move on from that, because they no longer are able to not only fit to you, like, your life, but for you to fit into their life anymore as well.
Mhm.
Like, it goes both ways, like you're saying. People that wanna continue to go out and party, that's great if that's what you wanna do. That if you don't have anything that you have responsibilities outside of, like taking care of an animal or family or a baby, and you wanna do that, by all means, please go. Don't let
Right.
me hold you. I don't want to hold you back. That is
Right.
not, no way. But I don't fit into that anymore. So maybe that's just where that path ends. And
True.
don't wish you any ill will, but at this point in
Peace
life,
out.
we're just on completely different paths. And
Yeah.
and it's like sometimes you may even come back to when that person is in that stage, they might re-enter
Realize.
your life and realize, but it that is definitely something hard too that you get
Mhm.
the second you leave the hospital too, because people are so happy for you when you do have the baby right away, but then, like, you get home into reality outside of the hospital and things start to change very quickly
Right.
on all of those aspects. Like, suddenly it's like, "Oh, you're home? Well, when can we do this? When can we do that?" Like, there's so much going on right now. Like, I'm literally trying to figure out how to be a new character, which is called mom,
Let
and,
me get out of my
like,
diaper first.
I right, like, hold on. Like, I still have my abdomen sliced open, and I
Yeah.
can't do X, Y, and Z, you know? Or people trying to everybody wants to see the baby, everybody wants to come over, like, "Can you give me some time?" Like, I am just want to relax and be home with my
Right.
baby, and it's not to say that I don't want to see you or I don't want the company, but I just don't want it every second of every day. Like,
Right.
I think that that is something that new moms need to not be afraid to say
Right.
is
Exactly.
no to things like that because I got very overwhelmed. Um, and luckily, when I was able to express that, it was taken very seriously. And anyone that was around kind of, took a step back
Mhm.
here and there. Not because I think it's hard that people don't necessarily realize they're doing that because they're just so excited and they're in that joy in that moment of like they're excited for you, they're excited there's this new baby and they want to be there and they want to do things, but sometimes that's very overwhelming for
Right.
not only the new mom but also the new dad, and y'all are trying to figure out life right now. And okay, well, we think we have everything set up, but then when you get home from the hospital, maybe you forgot something, or maybe you have something new that you didn't realize you needed, and now you gotta figure it out, and now we gotta go to the store, and oh my gosh, these diapers don't work, or like this
Rash
cream
from the
is breaking her
diapers.
out, or like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like having a girl, first of all, they don't tell you things, and then you're like, why is there blood in your diaper? And then you're like calling and they're like, oh, that's normal. Like it's just your hormones passing through her. Great. Nobody thought to tell me that before I left the hospital. Why are we not telling us? Like there should be a
My pediatrician told us that,
yes.
or at least
Ours
Maddie's.
did
Yeah.
too. Ours did too. At at the doctor's appointment, not at the hospital.
Right.
So like, what are we? Okay. Like there are just some things, and maybe the doctor did tell us, and I was just like hyped up on pain meds and didn't catch all of it. But like, there should be some serious things going on here. Like,
Can you
just
imagine
certain
though,
things.
like if they were gonna give us a packet of the possibilities that
Oh
could
no,
happen, it'd be like 5 chapter books.
it would give also so much anxiety. I think
It
added
would. Why
anxiety.
isn't
I
this one
really,
happening?
yeah, yeah. You're right there. Like, as great as it would be to have known some of that information ahead of time, yeah, I think it probably would have caused a lot more panic. Yeah, it can definitely be a little it's stressful. There's just so much that goes into coming home. Um,
Yeah. But it is
you
also
know.
nice to have the quiet moments of just you and baby too, because in the
Mhm.
hospital you're constantly being checked on or interrupted,
Yeah.
or a lactation consultant or someone coming to
Yeah.
visit you, or making sure you're
Yeah.
eating, making sure they do the big pressing of your abdomen and that hurts.
Oh.
Checking your infection, making sure you go to the vet. I could literally keep going.
Uh-huh.
And then you finally get home and it's like, okay, this is my space. I am in charge of this space. I can figure this out. I can feed this time. I will try 2 hours. I will try 3 hour, and you have more time to
Yeah.
figure it out, but
You're
it's
suddenly
quiet.
yeah, and
Screaming
you're
baby,
suddenly in your
yes.
own space. You're able to figure it out for yourself, and you don't
Right.
have doctors and nurses and other people coming in and telling you, "Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to try this." Like, this is your schedule. I remember like in the hospital they had us keep that log of time when we fed, how
Poop.
long we fed for, wet diapers, poopy diapers, like XY, like it was a whole ass log, like
I
a
get why
paper
though, because
trail.
they need to make sure if there's something wrong, they catch it
Right.
immediately. So you can't
Absolutely.
say, you didn't see this. Why did you let me go
Absolutely.
home? So I
No,
do
it makes
understand why they do
100%
it.
sense.
It's
I
just a
am
lot.
glad that they do it, but it is so much to put on, like, the mom and the dad, who are literally just trying to figure out make sure this, like, baby is alive, and, like, I'm
Feed,
trying
yeah.
to remember, like, and then I'm staring at the clock. I was trying to breastfeed. I was breastfeeding in the hospital, and it's like, "Okay, what time did I start?" And I'm staring at the clock like, I can't even open my eyes. What time does that say? And then I'm, like, watching the clock for 10 minutes, and, okay, now it's time to switch sides. That's what they told me I have to do, where
Mhm.
when you're home, it's so much more freeing.
Yeah.
Because, but it's also, again, it's scary because now you don't have somebody telling you what you should be doing, so now you
Right.
have to figure it out on your own. So where it is freeing because you have that ability to do it on your own and you don't have to listen to someone, you suddenly don't have anybody to listen to, and it's just you and your partner, hopefully, or maybe it's a mom or your dad or somebody who's there. If hopefully you have some support system with you to help you through that, or maybe it's just you and suddenly it's okay, now I don't have
Yeah.
anyone to ask, now I have to figure this out on your own. So yeah, it can
Right.
definitely be very both of those things.
I will say though, she's 2.5. I still got all that.
Oh
There's still
yeah.
beautiful moments. There's still anxiety, no matter
Oh
what we do.
yeah.
I mean, that's how it
Always.
is. But
That's
I
life.
think
That's
once again, when you get through those first couple days of figuring out a routine, knowing what works, what doesn't work, it gets easier. Like it
yeah.
does. Like, I mean, you still have tough moments. Oh my God, what is this new rash? Or
Mhm.
why is this turning red? Or why are you
Right.
not eating anymore? Why are you
Yeah.
not pooping anymore? Like all of that. But you have that's why it's so good to find a pediatrician that will answer questions
Mhm.
immediately. Like you can use that and be like, if they don't respond to you in those first couple of days when they even know how hard that is, I'd pick somebody else. I mean, like
Right.
I was able to call a triage number when I was nervous. I was able to send messages. They would get to it immediately. And so you do have someone to ask questions. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions, just like with you
Right.
and your OB through the whole pregnancy process.
Mhm.
That's so important
It is so
because if
important.
you don't have someone, that is your someone. That pediatrician
Exactly.
is your someone.
Yeah, it's very
So,
important to find one that you can fully trust, that you feel comfortable asking those questions and calling regarding, like, regardless of if you think it's might be stupid or not. Like,
right.
it's important to have someone who's not going to make you feel that way and just tell you in the gentlest way possible that it's normal and it's okay.
Hmm.
But look out for signs X, Y, and Z.
Hmm.
If that starts to happen, then give us a call
Right. Don't
back.
just Google.
But like, ours always made it a point to being like, that's what we're here for. Call us
Hmm.
whenever you need us. Like, don't worry,
Same.
we don't care. Like, ours literally answers within the first hour generally when I message them. We have
Right.
an answer generally within the first hour. And if I'm still anxious, waiting, and it gets past an hour and I call, like, they can pull up the message and, oh, I see here, we were
Hmm.
looking, whatever. They're great, and it's definitely very important to find one that you can trust with your your thoughts, I
Seriously.
guess. It's
You
because
have a lot of them.
there's a lot of them. There's so much going on. Those first couple appointments are so nerve-wracking, and, because they're testing baby's weight and all the levels in their blood, and you're they're pricking their feet more, and they're doing
Yeah.
all of this other stuff that, makes them uncomfortable, makes the babies uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and you have to try and be strong, but you're like, freshly postpartum, my hormones are raging and you're hurting my baby.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just so much that really goes into those first, like, 2 weeks, really,
Mhm.
leaving after you leave the hospital. And could be longer too, depending on how you're healing, regardless of if it's a vaginal birth or a C-section. Everything can be so different. I know my
Right.
C-section, I couldn't lay flat for 2 weeks. I couldn't lay in bed. I had to sleep on the couch in a reclined position, like I was in a hospital bed still, but a much more comfortable one. Um, in my living room. I couldn't be in my own bedroom for 2 weeks. And I
Right.
mean, like you said, you had all those infections. So
Mhm.
what everyone would be like, "Oh, vaginal birth, like, just gets to go home and you might be a little sore, but you'll be fine." Like, that's not always the case.
Right. So many different kinds of tears.
Yeah. Tears and incisions and infections, and then how to treat your infection and trying to care for a baby, and
Right.
also, like, there's yeah, it's just so much. There's so much.
It
And I feel
is.
like we could really go on and on about all of the things that go on just in the first week or 2.
Right. But I mean,
Like,
what a great segue though into our product stuff though.
yes, absolutely, because we're gonna talk about postpartum care, you know? What were some of the biggest things for you with vaginal birth?
Oh
How for
my
post
God. Tux pads with witch hazel saved my
Mhm.
life through
Okay.
infection all the way. Um, what was the spray? Is it Dermablast? I
Mhm.
think it's something like that. It's a numbing spray. I
Okay.
used Dermablast on the witch hazel pads, and then I also had the little ice packs, and they give you a bunch in the hospital. But I really liked it's like the Frida Mom ones, and they
Mhm.
make reusable ones on Amazon. I always found that like kind of gross, but like you can wipe it down, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's literally you pop it and it immediately is a cooling pad. And then you put the witch hazel on top,
Okay.
spray the Dermablast, put on that diaper, and it feels incredible. But they kept telling me like you can use like the little toilet seat thing like cleans yourself. I don't know what it's called. It sounds really gross. But you could
The
also use like a peri bottle to
are you
spray as
talking
you
about
go.
a bidet?
No. I thought it's not a bidet.
Okay.
They offer it in the hospital, so like you literally basically sit on warm water. It's to help you soothe
Oh,
yourself.
like an Epsom bath, basically.
Yeah, kind of like that. So
Okay.
that's an option. They brought that up with my infection. I
Mhm.
didn't really use it in all honesty because the witch hazel and the dermablast
Was
and the ice
helping.
packs were helping through all of it. Like I really did feel amazing. Um, Uncomfortable, but amazing
Yeah.
with that infection. But I 100% recommend all 3 of those. I'm already gonna be buying a bunch of them for this baby. Like, I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Did
about
you,
you with the C-section, though? Because I know that's completely different.
yeah, I had bought all of the things that you're talking about because I was fully planning on having a vaginal birth.
Right,
She was head down for 3 or 4 weeks prior, so I was like, I
right.
need all this stuff." It was in the hospital bag. Um, so I wasn't prepared at all,
Yeah,
and luckily, the hospital was able to provide me with just about everything that I needed.
good.
Um, but I think the biggest thing for me with a C-section was having that belly band that
All right.
just I mean, it's a compression band, and
Right.
I can't explain how helpful that was. I mean, I with the C with a vaginal birth, you're still pushing your organs are still moving and shifting back into place after you have the baby. They're
Mhm.
trying to go,
Right.
reform. Like with the C-section, they take it all out of your body and then they just kind of throw it all back in there. And it's like they're trying to find their way back to where they even belong. I felt things moving, like uh, having that compression band. They
Yeah,
gave me like 2 or 3 at the hospital. I
that's
mean,
nice.
that was top tier, and you can buy
Yeah.
others. I think Freedom Mom has one as well.
Right.
And it but I highly even for I think for vaginal births, I feel like those could be pretty helpful. I was about to ask you if you
I've
used one
heard
of
of them,
those.
but I did not. I did not.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
feel like I lived in compression clothing for
I never
months.
did any of that, and Tab's been telling me I should try that now.
Yeah,
So
I
I
lived in
should.
compression clothing for months for the first, like, 2 months postpartum. I even if I was wearing, like, jeans when I finally got comfortable, I always had stretchy jeans, so it's not like I was real
Mhm.
denim or anything, but I had a, like, compression bodysuit on underneath or compression underwear. I always had compression on my stomach. I just felt like I needed it, and it was the best thing. Aside from that, I think still having, like, postpartum underwear and the pads, because even with the C-section, you're still, bleeding a fuck ton.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, wow. Didn't realize it would be that bad, with especially with the C-section. Like, you're still losing a lot of blood that way. So just stocking up on the postpartum disposable underwear and the
Mhm.
pads galore. Um, Having antibacterial soap um for the incision,
Yeah.
to be able to get the it depends, I guess, where you go. I think most places do glue. Um, so just being able to rub the glue off, and having they usually, again, the hospital will provide you with all of these things. But it's
Right.
important to ask for it too, because they who knows, maybe they don't give it to you, or it's also, you can ask for extra. Just
It's
ask
true.
for extra. They're gonna give
I
it to
did.
you. They're not gonna tell
Yep.
you no.
Yep.
And if they do, fuck them. But they should give you, they're gonna give you whatever you need.
Right.
So I think C-section wise, though, I definitely think just that compression band was huge.
Good to know.
For breastfeeding wise, having nipple cream, nipple
Mhm.
pads, um, the nursing bras, um, pumping bras, even it really is makes a big difference in your journey. Having the right kind of bra
Mhm.
and the right kind of clothes. Like, buy a couple of nursing shirts, even if you're not nursing and you're pumping solely. Buy a
Yeah.
couple of them, because it
True.
makes getting the pumps in and out so much easier, and more accessible, when you're at work or you're on the go or whatever. You don't have to lift all your shirt up or try to go through an armhole. Like, they're meant for that. Um,
Right.
so those are huge, and they're generally, like, especially on Amazon, you can find packs of like 3 for $20 or less. It's worth the money, even if that's your plan. Like, if your plan is I want to breastfeed or I want to pump, plan ahead for it. And if it doesn't work out, you got a couple comfy shirts. They're usually very nice and comfortable. Like,
True. It's true.
um, yeah. So I would say definitely nipple butter. They'll give you, like, the ointment that I can't remember
Yeah.
the name of right now. Um,
Is it the Lacino or whatever, however you pronounce
yeah,
that?
Lancino,
Lancino.
Lanso, something like that. They give you
Mhm.
that. Um, but then having, like, the pads that have, like, the soothing gel on them. Um, there's little, like, shells that you can
Mhm.
put on the inside of your bra that
Little
are
ice
good for, like,
packs.
yeah, and, like, the shells are, like, they're basically like the pads you would find on the inside of a bathing suit, but a little bit thicker. Um, those are good for leaking purposes, like, so that
Mhm.
you don't leak through them. But definitely, gel those nipples up before you put them on, because if you start to leak, you're gonna stick and it's gonna hurt. But if you gel them up, I'm like holding because I remember the pain. Um, so yeah, just having all of those essential things
Yeah.
really makes a big difference for when you leave, to be just fully prepared at home. Make a cart for yourself. Get a cart,
Yes.
cheap cart off of Amazon with wheels on it that you can roll around and keep by your
Michael's
side.
Michael's has cheap 3 layered
Yeah,
carts.
Amazon too, like, Walmart, Target, like, you can find those.
Mhm.
And they, like, you keep snacks on a layer, keep if you wanna keep some pumping stuff there. I didn't make a pumping cart because I felt like I was getting up to clean all my parts anyway, so I just kept them in one spot, where some people
Mhm.
find it easier to have, like, a whole cart with, like, all the pumping essentials there.
I did that because I didn't have a portable one either. Everything was
Right.
plugged in. So I had a
Yeah.
little cart, little station, which was really
Yeah.
nice.
See,
And then
mine
I
were
had all
I
my
only
care
had
products at the bottom.
Right. See, I only had portable ones. So for me, it was like it just made more sense for me to keep it all in one spot, like at the counter with all my care and stuff there. But I also don't have a very big house, so that's a whole other thing. But the cart just definitely keeping like burp cloths and
Mm-hmm.
nipple cream and snacks and just any kind of care that you could possibly need for yourself so that you don't have to get up if you're nap trapped or in the middle of pumping, like whatever it may be. So yeah, those are definitely some good things to tick off and remember for sure.
Right.
But well,
Sorry,
we could
Maddie.
probably go on and on
The
about
pull-ups.
all of the
I know
things.
if the pull-ups are wet.
You have to rip them. Sorry.
No, it's
Maddie started
okay.
pull-ups. He was asking.
That's okay.
On
That's
the
okay.
next episode.
No, but hey, we really appreciate you guys, listening in. This was kind of a rambly episode, but it only goes to show there's just so much that happens in those just like couple of days and weeks after you leave the hospital, and
Right.
we didn't even touch on probably half of them.
Nope.
I think we touched on like the biggest parts of them though that like we
We did.
experienced.
We
So
definitely
we'd
did.
love to hear what your guys' experience are. Send us some message comments, or if you
Yeah.
want to send us some stories, we'll be happy to read them on a mini episode. You can send them into thebestmompod@gmail.com or find us at thebestmompod on Instagram, and you can DM us there and leave a comment or whatever. We'll reach out. That would be fun. But in the meantime, I hope that your coffee is always strong.
And your patience lasts long.
Perfect. We will see you guys next week. Bye.